We want to welcome Bruce Kozerski to In the Trenches with Dave Lapham, brought to you by First Star Logistics. And Koz is coming to us from the Caribbean, man. You're
Yes,
looking
sir.
rested. You're looking good, stud.
Well, that's saying something right there, but I am rested. We're down here at Virgin Gorda down here in the British Virgin Islands at the very tip, Oil Nut Bay, and we're having a great time.
That's unbelievable. You there with your entire family? You got a lot of folks down there?
My wife, I'm here with my my sister Virginia and her husband Peter, my brother Michael and his wife Kat, and my nephew Nick and his wife, and so we're just having a fantastic time.
That's awesome. Any kiddies or young bucks running around down there?
No. This is adults only here.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, I mean, then you can have a Mai Tai at any time of the day, right?
We are flying back to Miami and then driving up to Panama City. My grandson plays in a baseball tournament there over the holidays. So yeah, we'll be down here for a few weeks.
Wow, that's awesome. What positions your grandson play?
He's a pitcher, he's a catcher, and he's a corner infielder. He's a really good player.
I guess,
Gets the crap out of it. Yeah, we're real proud of him.
How old?
It's a U13 league down here. Plays with Midland Gold.
Midland, whew. That's big time. That's serious baseball right there.
He's doing baseball 5 days a week.
Gosh, you're an outstanding athlete yourself. I mean, people say, "Oh, yeah, offensive lineman, athlete." No, man. I mean, Anthony Munoz is as good an athlete as I've ever met.
Ever, yeah. Sure.
The dude pitched. He was a relief pitcher for your national championship USC baseball team, for crying out loud. Case closed, That's an athlete right there. What sports did you play in other than football, Koz?
I was a state-ranked discus thrower, shot put thrower in high school. We Pennsylvania was pretty good. I threw discus 171. I threw the shot 53. Awesome. I was third in my region. I had Ron Solt play with the Colts. He was on my own team, and Mark Duda played with the old St. Louis Cardinals defensive lineman. He and Ronnie were neck and neck for 1 and 2, and I was 3 at 53-6. Is that crazy? Yeah, and I wrestled a little bit, and I think that really helped.
Yeah. How does wrestling help you become a better football player?
Well, so much of what happens in the offensive line plays is right in here, and as well as the toughness to go 6 minutes of unadulterated pain. I mean, the conditioning of a wrestler that has the ability to go 6 minutes is something that is very difficult to even bring up a conversation, because nobody has a clue what 6 minutes of hell is. Yeah. But yeah, we love it. It was a lot of fun, and it's one-on-one. There's no excuses.
I'll tell you, I've known quite a few wrestlers over the years in my lifetime, and every single one of you guys is uber competitive, man. I mean, it's like take no prisoners, man.
Tim Kremer was a wrestler in Wisconsin, tremendous wrestler. He was. And that's all we did every day in practice was wrestle.
Hell of a football player. I know you two guys, man. You guys played probably 100,000 games. The way you guys practiced.
We used to fight twice a day, once in the morning practice and once in the afternoon practice. Yeah, sure.
Unbelievable. So let's transition to the Bengals. I guess a lot of fans, a lot of people are being critical, a lot of media, a lot of social media saying, there's not enough fight, as we're talking about here, not enough fight in the Cincinnati Bengals this year. I mean, a very disappointing season. I know I expected the results to be better. I know you did. I know a lot of people did, as well as the players and coaches themselves. What do you think is the biggest reason that it didn't turn out that way, Koz?
So much has to go right for a team to get 10-3, 10-4 at this point. Yeah. So much has to go right. And it obviously didn't start that way with Joe's injury early in the season. They changed training camp up. They did some things they hadn't done in years. They actually played starters in preseason games. And while they didn't hit the ground with a blaze of glory, they really won 2 games, which is when's the last time we won 2 games in September? It's been years.
Yeah.
And then Joe's injury, and then you can tell what an impact it made. You would think that the backup quarterback could defend the position a little better than Jake Browning did, but it didn't happen for him this year. And so we fell off the wagon and got Joe Flacco, and he put some respectability back in the offense, and then it exposed the weaknesses in the defense. And so it's been kind of a chasing the tail. We don't know where the weaknesses that affect our game the most, and so much has to go right. if one phase of the game is out of sync, it just leads to a losing effort. I mean, look at the Chiefs and the Eagles and some of those other teams that historically have been top of the conferences, top of the leagues, and they're out of it already at this point. You know, the Eagles are still in, but fighting for their life. The Ravens yesterday, playing against, of all teams, the New England Patriots, who were the worst team in football last year. So something has to go. Everything has to go right to put together a season like that. And when you lose your starting quarterback, who's really the trigger man and holds all the thing together, I mean, you think about the effect that Joe Burrow has on our defense. Talk about being able to play loosey-goosey on defense because you know you're going to score points. We can fly around and do things that we normally couldn't do. Marvin Lewis brought a defense in here that it was just the opposite kind of team. You know, we're going to win games 17-13.
Right.
When's the last time the Bengals won a game with Joe Burrow here? 17-13.
Right.
It's a totally different style of football. We play close to the vest as an offense, don't risk turnovers, and our defense will win the game for us. Now it's just the opposite. We have to play wide open offense, put our foot to the pedal, and just go balls to the wall and see if we can score 45 points a game.
You know, you're a highly successful high school football coach now. You know, you transitioned to doing that in your career and improving the opportunity for many of your high school football players to continue to play if they so desire after their high school career. Some could earn scholarship opportunities, and those players and their families will be eternally grateful. What does that mean to you to provide opportunities for players, for families like you may be able to provide, Koz?
Well, the benefit of where I was, inner city type of a school, we did have some suburban and some families that were from outside the cities, but to take a young man like a Derek Barnes that plays for the Lions right now, or a Joe Fisher that went and played at Kentucky, or Eric Ologis who went and played at Holy Cross College where I did, it's an amazing sense of accomplishment because while some of those have a decent life and would have been successful regardless, you know that some of those guys that played in position to go to college and play, it made a difference in where they are today. The people that one of my quarterbacks, Yuri Arnhaus, was a preferred walk-on at Louisville. His family was dyed-in-the-wool, UK. And when he went to Louisville, it was like, what the heck? You know, they had to get something red in their wardrobe for the first time. But, you know, the people that he met at the University of Louisville on the football team with all those connections got him a great job. And he's so successful now. And the same thing with Joe Fisher. Eric Ologis is a big shot. It went no further than playing in college. And that's some of the smaller Division III guys too. The same example. They just mingle with so many influential people that can help them when they get out of college. It's such a benefit, and I feel great about it. Derek Barnes, of course, went to play at Purdue. Great education at Purdue, no doubt about that. But he played himself into an NFL roster starting linebacker with the Detroit Lions.
Guys, we're both very fortunate that we're in the fraternity of National Football League players, former players, not current players.
Yeah.
Former players. And it's a big fraternity. You know, almost anywhere you go in the world, you're going to find NFL alumni players and doing all different kinds of things. You know, you're obviously, like we talked about, a very proficient and successful teacher that has helped the next generation, educating them and giving them opportunities to better themselves. How great is the game of football in that, you know, it helps you set goals. It helps you accomplish things in your life. It helps you make you feel better about yourself with what you're doing in your life. How important is all that?
You know, what's amazing is the people that we've met. When you get to the National Football League, you think about football players as being brutal and just physical and animalistic at times. Right. But you know what? The guys that I spent time with were just tremendous human beings, great in their communities, great loving families. You know, I look at Anthony and I look at Max Montoya and Joe Walter and Brian Blados and Bruce Reimers, and of course can't leave out the great Dave Lapham. What great people to hang around with. And so when we get together after not seeing each other for 4 or 5 years, it's like old times. Right. You know, and the beauty about talking about football right now is we don't have the pains and aches that we had when we would wake up on a Monday morning after a Sunday game. Of course, right. We have the legacy pains, all those ones handed down from the years and years of beating ourselves into the ground. But yeah, It's amazing fraternity. I went to a alumni players association dinner before Christmas time, and there were 52 guys there. You know, all from Cincinnati area that played all over the league.
Yeah.
And you know, I ran into Frankie Minifield with the Kentucky Pro Football Hall of Fame, and after about the third year of getting together at these functions, Frankie said, "You know, Koz," he said, "when we played each other, I hated you." He said, "But now it's like you're just a guy. You're just a friend of mine," and that's the beauty of playing in that fraternity. And you know the same thing. All the people that you played with and against, and they're just guys that just good people.
Yeah, absolutely. Really, really good people. The fact that the National Football League is the most popular sport in the world, the broadcast revenue that is generated is mind-boggling. I mean, I didn't think there was that much money out there. Never mind paying the NFL that kind of money. I mean, it's just staggering. It's stupid money. How does the sport need to evolve and improve, get bigger, whatever? Or are you satisfied with the way it is right now?
Well, they've put a lot of effort into making the game as safe as possible, and that as possible is critically important because it's not a safe sport for the guys that play it, regardless of how safe they try to make it.
Right.
It's a collision sport, no longer a contact sport. When you're throwing 350-pound guys against one another, and then occasionally you get a 190-pound receiver trapped in between, something's going to give. You know, it's just the physics and the anatomical makeup of the human body. It's not designed to play this game, and they're doing amazing things to extend the life. And then, of course, the post-career treatments have gotten better, and the benefits have gotten better. But they still need to work on that. As much money is involved in the league right now, there's so many players out there that are beaten and broken, and the pensions is good. It's better than it's ever been, but it can be improved. We put a lot of we made the game as great as it is today. You were part of it. You know, my generation was part of it. The ones that played after me have been part of it, and I think that they're doing a much better job. They're readjusting all these benefits based on the billions and billions of dollars now coming in, and the salary cap going up so exponentially. They're trying their very best to make it at least pay off for the guys who founded the league.
Because the game of football is international in its scope. You know, it's worldwide, like we talked about. There's worldwide interest in who beats who in the National Football League, who's going to make the playoffs, who's struggling. Everybody is interested in finding out what's happening in the National Football League. With that said, you think it needs to get bigger? Do you think the NFL needs to expand? Do you think the NFL needs to go international in terms of playing over in Europe, playing in Australia, you know, playing wherever, you know, playing in Ireland? You know, you had the USFL, you had the World Football League, you had entities like that. They've gone by the wayside, but the National Football League is going strong. Do you think it needs to become a worldwide entity?
I think the evolution where it was just the AFL in the back of the beginning days, and then there were other teams that started playing football. They formed their own conference, and then they wanted to play and see who was best, you know, all here in America, and it worked out to be the National Football League now,
right,
with 32 teams. I think eventually it's going to end up with an international league and an American league, and eventually you'll have a Super Bowl that will play against each other. You know, oddly, as you mentioned that up, my nephew and his wife live in London.
Really?
They work for two different very, very high power companies in London. They're very successful. That's the reason they can afford to move over there. But as big as soccer is in Europe and that part of the world, when there's an NFL game coming to London, everybody's running around with jerseys on. You know, like, that's amazing how many people you see in foreign countries that are fans of the National Football League. That they're not American, they're just European, and they know that bowl's coming over. Then they pack those 80,000 seat stadiums, 90,000 seat soccer stadiums like nothing, with a tremendous amount of money invested, and for one game or two games a year to come to that country, it's just amazing. So I think the inevitability is, sure enough, there's going to be some type of European league that's going to want to play professional football and eventually graduate into some type of a super international Super Bowl.
Like we mentioned earlier, head football coach at Holy Cross High School, won a state championship. you've gotten into the education aspect of it.
Yes,
Of
sir.
course, a football coach is an educator. There's no question about it. Educating young people in the game of football and the game of life. But do you teach in the classroom setting, other than what you're doing in terms of counseling young people as to what they want to do with their lives after their high school careers are over?
Oh yeah, teaching is more than just stuffing the textbook in their face. Especially with high school kids that are going through so much. And to be honest with you, Dave, you have no idea how much goes into their and through their mind every day when they come from home. Sometimes school is their oasis, and so you spend the first part of the school year trying to figure out what makes them tick and how you can best get into their head to teach them this stuff that they don't necessarily want to learn, but they're here to learn. I have the fortune of teaching both ends of the spectrum, with the elite students teaching the AP Physics and AP Calculus, and then I have some math for the trades people who are going to go out into the community and build our houses and do the electrical work and the HVAC work in our. And I'm very fortunate to do that because they're going to be very successful people as well.
Sure.
And I look forward to seeing them down the road. But they need a different type of concern. You have to make sure that they don't want to drop out, because they've not had much success, and maybe they don't have a lot of support at home for the education. So you might have to be their full-time support. And then there's always ones that the relationships break up and they just crash. And so you notice that they're different this week than they were last week. And
Yeah.
so you have a meeting, hey, what's going on? So I know something's changed, and you become a counselor to these people, and hopefully you have some kind of impact. And then you counsel them on. I've written a letter. I don't know how many letters of recommendation to get these students into colleges. That's a thrill and a great honor for them to ask me to do that.
Well, it's, you're such a great guy, a great person, great human being, and hell of a football coach as well. What does it mean to you when these young people that you've helped move on to further their educations, whether it be in trade school or junior college or college, whatever the case may be, and they come back to see their hero, their guiding light, Bruce Kozerski, who basically said, look, I see potential in you. I think you've got a lot to offer, and I want to get the most out of you that I possibly can, and I'm going to help you have the best life that you can possibly have. What does it mean to you when these young people come back to thank you?
I'm just in awe. The times during the year when they're on their spring breaks or their fall breaks, whatever, and they have the opportunity to come back into school and they come back to see me. It's just an amazing honor and thrill. And then to see them graduate and be so successful with what they go into, engineering, doctors, tradesmen, accountants, that kind of thing. It's just thrilling to see. Then you walk your grandson into the elementary school for his acclimation for his new year class in 6th and 7th grade and all that. And there's 14 parents in the hallway of 14 different kids that y'all taught, that I taught 20 years ago.
Right.
And now have kids in the middle school, and they take no time at all. It takes nothing for them to come up and say, hey, you were such an impact. And it's just so revolutionary to me. I understand how. I'm just a guy. I love what I do. I love teaching kids, and I got that from John Weissong. He's been inspirational throughout my whole life. Well, coaching career here at Holy Cross.
So there's no real, manual for coaches. Football coaching 101 or whatever the case may be. I mean, it's just you have to have a feel for your team, have a feel for your players, feel for your coaches. How long does it take for you to feel comfortable transitioning from football player to football coach, Koz?
Oh, leaving the NFL, I was a different human being. Coaching at the high school was just thrill. I was trying to do all the things that McNally taught us how to do, and But then I had this guy, John Weissong. He'd been coaching high school football forever, and you watch him work with kids, and he's like the Pied Piper. Nobody ever quit on him. And it made such an impact on my life, and I try to carry some of that forward. Be somebody that they want to play for, that they don't want to give up on, that you can maybe inspire some hope in their life where they would normally just quit and walk the streets of Covington, but to be able to get into their heads a little bit and provide that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort. but it's so much worth it. It is such a rewarding coaching field.
Who was the guy that changed your life? I mean, who was the coach that inspired you to be a better version of yourself? And sports obviously ended up being a big part of that. But who was the football coach that said, Bruce Kozerski, you're a hell of a player, son. You can go places. You're going to have your pick of the litter as such when the time comes, and you're going to have a great life. You're going to be very successful in life. You're going to be a husband, a father, a grandfather. You're going to do great things for your community. Who was that guy?
I think at every phase there's a different guy. I was in college, and at that point I already had a knee injury in high school, and I got to college, small Division I school, Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts, and I had a couple of different coaches the first year and a half, 2 years, and then this guy Pete Correo came in and helped me really become more athletic and play in different things, and got me some looks, and then I left Holy Cross and went to the NFL, and of course, the impact that Jim McNally had on all of us is just amazing. He's a legend to many people, but to us, he's a close personal friend. And this is a guy that drove us like dogs to be the best we could be. But we love the man. We love the guy. He went into Canton Hall of Fame last summer, and we were all there to support him. And then, of course, playing for Sam Weiss, what a guy. Sam was he could tell you a joke in the hallway and light you up in the classroom a minute later because of something that you've done on the film. But he could separate the two, and that was a lesson in itself. Separate the aggressiveness of the football field to the humanity of being just a guy in the locker room that can get along with people from all over the country. And then, of course, when I went to high school, I was an animal trying to teach these young kids. And John Weissong is the guy that pulled me aside. He'd been coaching high school forever and really taught me how to teach high school kids. And he was also a beloved math teacher. And so he taught me how to teach in the classroom a little bit. And I owe them so much.
Talk about the bond that's created with football players on a football team. I mean, my bond with Anthony Munoz will last the rest of my life. I mean, there's nobody that I respect and trust and admire more than Anthony Munoz. I know you feel the same way about him, and a bunch of others, whether it's Bruce Reimers, Brian Blados, Joe Walter, all the guys that you played with. What is it about the game of football that helps create these lifelong bonds?
Well, I don't know that there's very many occupations out there where you blood, sweat, and tears of trying to accomplish the same goals. And then, as close as I am with Anthony and Max and Joe and Brian Blados and Bruce Reimers and all those Dave Smiths and all those, you and I worked together for 3 years on the radio, and I saw just the passion that you have for the ball, for football, and all of the work that you put into it. And it's also inspired me. So yeah, I think that the people that you work with every day, you either find out that they are complete a-holes or that they are the ones you want to work with and be like. And that's the fortunate environment that we had with the Cincinnati Bengals, to be around such inspiring people. When that spitting incident occurred a few weeks back, man, all we could talk about is how that would have gone over in our locker room. It would have been just an aberration, because you didn't do that kind of thing around Anthony and Max and the guys that we had in the locker room. It was just totally off the wall. And if someone had done it to one of our teammates, there would have been a fight on the field that the referees would not have stepped in to stop. And then every play after that would have been a cheap shot at the guy who did it to our guy. Perfectionism. Right. You think about the cheap shot that Kenny Anderson got when he got his head ripped off by the idiot from Pittsburgh. How did you guys feel about that?
Yeah, right. Wanted to kill the guy. Yeah.
I came in later after that event, and we were still looking to get a shot on that dude for that. I wasn't even on the team at that time.
Right.
Because these are the guys, Kenny Anderson, you work with every day, and there's not a better human being than Kenny Anderson as well. So, I mean, think about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like The Exorcist. Watching that game tape, I'm like, I cannot believe that he's not in the hospital for
break his neck. Sure.
Yeah, jeez, unbelievable. It's a violent game played by unbelievably big, violent athletes, but it's a great game. I mean, the game of football. I would have not traded what I ended up doing with my life for anything in the world, Koz. How about you?
Not a chance. Not a chance. I sit here at the breakfast table talking about my sore knees and my knee replacement, and my shoulders and the plate in my neck and the screws in my ankle. And I thought, and they keep saying, well, why would you have done this? I said, are you kidding me? I wouldn't trade it for a second. The places I've been, the people I met. We were sitting at dinner last night, and Morgan Freeman was sitting at the table behind us. I said, you just don't get to these places without,
Right.
That doesn't happen to someone who maybe once in a while you stumble into something like that. But I'm just so fortunate to be where I was at the right time. It was so much of what happens in your life is being in the right place at the right time. Some people are fortunate, like Anthony and Max. They'd have been successful no matter what team they played on. But so much of the lower round picks, like myself and Joe and Bruce Reimers, we were there with the right guy, McNally, at the right time with Sam Weich to put together that offensive line. And you had just left, and I don't know whether to thank you or to cuss at you, but when you went to the USFL and played for the Trumpster, I came in here and played for the Bengals. So you opened up a spot for
Here you go.
Poor Polish dude from Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania.
Koz, you're a great man, great person, great football player, great human being, hell of a football coach, influencing the young lives you're influencing.